you still, like we were talking about earlier, you're sending your money away, you don't want to pay taxes, but you're expecting us to take care of you when something goes, but you fall down and, skin your knee or whatever it is.
Yeah, I had to do some continuing education in the insurance industry. And one of the courses that I took was a course about some of the provisions of Obamacare. And whether you agree with this view or you as kind of a general term or not, Obama wants these aliens coming in. Now, whether it's to get a bigger support base for votes or whatever it is, I don't really care what his reasoning for it is. But here we are. I'm 59 years old. My health insurance that I can't afford, $720 a month. And January 1st going up to almost $1,200 a month. Now, the reason I bring this up is because with Obamacare, one of the phasing in portions of this thing is you can't get on Medicaid supposedly. If you are an illegal immigrant, you can't get Medicaid, which we know they can, but you can't go under the program under Medicaid program unless you've lived here at least 5 years. So that poses a problem. Obamacare now has a temporary provision that gives, not charges, gives Medicaid care to illegal immigrants in that first 5-year period because they had to address themselves to the fact that illegals weren't going to be able to be covered under our health care system. Now, that just that's irritating me because here I'm paying $1,200 a month for health insurance. These guys are coming in illegally and they're getting it free. What do you think?
Well, going back to earlier when we were speaking before the show, things that I don't specifically have knowledge on one way or another, I can't make a informed decision until all you can do is tell me this is going on.
Assume this is true and how you feel about it.
Because I've specifically seen him get up there on television and other people, and stuff that I've read in certain articles here and there say that's one of the big misconceptions that conservatives have is that they think that this is going to take care of illegal immigrants, and it is not. So
he says that, but that's not true.
Okay, well that's what I'm saying. I just want to see.
That's not true.
Give me a reference, and I'll go look up.
But
assuming that you said that, that it is true, of course I wouldn't be for that at all because I
sure. This is my whole point in us having the discussion is that the rhetoric that comes out. Now, there has been very little respect given to George Bush, but I try to respect Obama as much as I can on this show. And they say things that are horrible, but I'm going to clean up the way I say this. If you will read Crimes Against Liberty, The Roots of Obama's Rage, and a few of these books. Oh, yeah, that's the other
one you could remember.
Yeah, Radical in Chief. If you'll read these books, but particularly Crimes Against Liberty, there's 400 pages of text and 150 pages of footnotes, and our president has no problem whatsoever getting up and misrepresenting himself, misrepresenting material facts, and that is my biggest complaint about all the media, but particularly the liberal media, is because we're not getting as a country the facts that we need. Just on this one point, that I know that before yesterday, I'd heard some vague allusions to it, but until we looked at the part of it that dealt with that last night on continuing education, I had no idea. But, yes or no to the whole thing. Is it true? Is it not true? The fact of the matter is that it's only one piece of a very, very large question about what are illegal immigrants doing to this country. I was making some notes while you were talking, and healthcare was the very first thing that you mentioned. You got health insurance, Matt.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you got health insurance. But Matt has health insurance because he helps his mother with her business, and she's allowed to put him on health insurance. And that's a better rate for him than if he had to go out and purchase that insurance on an individual basis. So yes, he has health insurance, but your health insurance is paid for. It's not given to you.
Okay. And real quick, then, I don't know if this is going to a different subject altogether, but that I have had to use that. I guess within 2 years ago, maybe roughly, and I still had to pay $700 for a less than 2-block ambulance ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of the issues with going on a whole other healthcare.
Well, that's in the healthcare debate, but you're right. But you see, who's being blamed for it? The insurance companies. But how could they be blamed? They're not the one billing $700 to you for that 2-block ride. They're not the ones billing it. They're the ones having to pay it. And that's the problem. Is that it's a free enterprise market system. If you don't want to pay the $700, you can live in Europe, you can live in England. You don't have to worry about that $700 charge, because once they get you to the hospital, you're going to wait 2 weeks to see the doctor anyway. So it's a real big problem.
That's been something you asked, because when I was in Italy not too long ago, well, it was too long ago, 6 years ago, 7 years, there were people I was working teaching English, and there were people who were with me who were all foreigners, and I had a couple of friends who got hurt. One of them broke his leg, went to the hospital, and they fixed him right up. You didn't have to wait.
It was an emergency.
No.
Yeah. Regular care under socialized medicine, you go wait. And the average wait time. Now, Berwick, the guy that's going to be over Obamacare, and we're getting off of the subject, but he believes in the European style of socialistic medicine that spreads well and all that stuff, and he thinks the 2-week wait's just fine. Of course, he won't be under it.
Yeah.
Because he'll be with a different plan.
Well, anyway, we're so used to having our regular conversations, I forget we're actually having. But getting back to the healthcare for immigrants, you were going. You made some notes over here.
Yeah, I made some notes, and the healthcare thing is just one piece of it. Because of immigrants, you're looking at a government, and last night you weren't here, but last night was showing that California was in the top 15 governments as a state government that within 10 years is going broke just because of their pension plans. And then real close to that was San Diego and Los Angeles cities going broke. So when you brought up police, the first thing that come to mind is that you've got the federal border control, but these illegal immigrants are coming across, and now all of a sudden San Diego and border cities like San Diego are having to there's no either. They've got to deal with the violence because of the drugs. Who's it costing? It's costing us. And should it be costing us? No. We should be having a better system for dealing with the illegal immigration. But this administration, just like the Bush administration, is refusing to deal with it. Now, Bush he's got a better record, but it ain't held a lot better. Okay? So, and now all of a sudden, we're paying a ton of money for police to deal with illegal immigration. And what does Barack Obama's right-hand guy in Justice Department do? The state of Arizona, did you read the bill?
No, just parts of it here and there.
State of Arizona put together a bill. They passed it. The bill was almost a carbon copy of federal law. So what do? Rather than dealing with that thing, we sue the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. So we got police. You was going to say something.
Another thing that'll make you real happy too is that my roommate was telling me that when they spot illegal aliens, if it's a couple of them from time to time, depending on where it is, sometimes they'll take them to Catalina Island and they'll just jump on the ferry and come on in or whatever it may be. And if they catch them, if it's just like one or two, a lot of the times the ICE, the people who are supposed to deal with that immigration, won't come pick them up because it's not worth it for them.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching some documentary and I saw that it's just they're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
So how do we expect to me, these, when you said immigration earlier when we were talking before the show, I want to talk about it because these are the things that aren't coming into the national discussion. Why?
Well, they are coming in, but other things keep coming up, and it gets kind of pushed back and pushed back. Florida actually had a almost similar bill as Arizona did that was going through, except they made a few changes as well. And I don't know if you're familiar with the term anchor babies. It's when immigrants come here, they have children who are naturalized citizens, that anchors them here because they become the parents of a natural citizen, and so on and so forth. And I believe, I don't know if it's actually in our Constitution or what or Bill of Rights, but if you're born, it says that if you're born in this country, you are an American citizen.
Bill of Rights.
So the way they were going to the way they set it up was, well, you can be born here, we're just not going to issue a birth certificate to you from the hospital. You have to come up.
Oh, that's stupid.
You have to show papers showing that you're an American citizen in order to get in the first place.
Some things are just stupid. And see, I still say all of these underlying things, and we got a few more to talk about. All these underlying things are there. An anchor baby. Look, until the rule of law is changed, we are a country that lives under a rule of law. Now, last night, the problem with that rule of law is that you've got people that are interpreting. I'm not sure how you interpret a sentence that says pavement is black, and you say, well, yes, it says that, but the interpretation is
black.
Different this, it could be
sunlight
dark, all that. And that's what's happening with the Constitution, but you're absolutely right. And they have to make changes.
At the same time, though, it was written how many years ago? And, you can't apply something that was written that long ago to today and have it, because they didn't have the things that we have today.
Yeah,
they didn't have the same problem.
It worked pretty well up until the time Woodrow Wilson started deciding that he wanted to change what it meant in the early 1900s. But there are issues now that have to be dealt with that there was no concept of a cell phone or.
Could never have dreamed of it,
But you have to have the spirit of what's said. And that's where we go. You've got the police problem. And I think more than anything, we were talking earlier about that large stretch, 20-mile stretch or so, in New Mexico, that the border enforcement troops were told they had to get off of, and they pulled them 15 miles away from the U.S. border, because this piece of desert is a national park, and they didn't want the Border Patrol people stomping around and destroying the vegetation and the animal life.